And it's been quite some time for you to record again since that. Was that by choice or?
Yeah, pretty much. I've never felt this pressure that you have to churn out an album a year because that's what the fans expect. Whatever, I'm more interested in release an album when it's ready, when you've got something new to say and you're proud of it. That's the time to release something new.
And so let's get right forward now to the Aristocrats. And when did this first germinate? What brought this project together?
All happened by accident at the NAMM show. I got an email from Brian Bella saying, "Hi, I'm Brian. I have this gig that I have to do at an event called the Bass Bash, which is kind of timed to coincide with NAMM fever. And originally it was meant to be Brian, Marco, and Greg Howe. And Greg pulled out a sort of unavoidable diary situation of some sort. So Brian was just desperately looking for a guitar player to step in at short notice just for this one gig. So we did the one gig. It was a couple of my tunes, a couple of Brian's, a couple of Marco's, and at the end of it, we sort of all looked at each other and said, "This was so much fun. We have to keep doing this." That went so much better than any of us expected it to, and the crowd response was another factor there. It seemed like everyone kind of responded to some kind of energy between the three of us, and it feels like we all play for the same reasons. So.
And how did you do the recording of it, given that you're so far apart and the other guys are very busy, especially Marco is a very busy guy.
Oh, preposterously busy. But we wanted to do it the old-fashioned way. So each of us wrote 3 songs, and we exchanged MP3s and charts and all that good stuff, and then said, okay, in April we're going to book this studio in Chicago for 5 or 6 days, and we're going to go there and arrange material and learn material and play it as a band and try and get some kind of real-time energy. And I think it worked. I think it was really good for us to get to know each other musically a little bit better, rather than just doing that distant thing where you email the guys like, on the FTP site you will now find 12 tracks of guitar, paste those into your sequencer and add some drums. I mean, that's one way to work, but actually having people in the same place in real time, there's a different energy.
I think that's what's missing in a lot of today's music, to be honest with you, is first of all, the young guitarists that are coming up, no matter how technically adept they are, they just haven't played with others enough, in my opinion.
They haven't played with other people, they haven't played standing up, and they haven't played loud.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing. The level of chops that the average teenage kind of metal kid has now is astonishing. It's never been like that at any other point in history, I don't think. But
no.
You have to wonder, what's it all for? Why are you getting so good at these very
sitting down on the
skills?
corner of your bed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something I always try and preach a little bit at any kind of clinic or masterclass. It's like, get out there and play with people and play to people, because that's why we invented music.
And what do you think about the idea that, I mean, there's so much recipe there for them, online videos they can watch to learn technique, tabs, the whole shebang. I mean, when I was growing up, it was put on the album, lift the needle, try it, put it back, over and over and over again.
I mean, and the vinyl has a shelf life. The more you try to work it out, the older the record gets, and the more the top end disappears and stuff like that. It's really important, I think. If you want to be a musician rather than just someone who operates a tool of the trade, I think you need to work on your ears. And for me, the goal is that you should be able to imagine a piece of music in your head and then instinctively know how to play it. So, all that wealth of instructional material that's out there, it's great for the short-term reward, the instant gratification. It's like, cool, I can now play Eugene's Trick Bag or whatever. But without the ear thing, I think everyone ultimately reaches this point where they think, I've spent so much of my life trying to become good at this instrument, and there's still a whole dimension of playing that eludes me.
Last time I talked to Paul Gilbert, he was in the process of taking jazz classes and was telling me that it was by far the hardest thing he had ever attempted in his life, to suddenly be forced with a chord change every couple of seconds rather than every couple of bars, and he was struggling with it.
Well, whatever you haven't done is difficult. I think for the jazz guys, like plugging into a screaming 100-watt Marshall cranked all the way up and taming that beast is equally hard. You know, there are challenges in every field of music. But, wow, Paul Gilbert can play jazz now.
Well,
Let's all be very scared.
he was just starting. I know you don't like to be considered a shredder, although the bulk of the community out there sees you as such, and that you'd like, obviously, to be known for your music and your compositions. What do you think of the way instrumental guitar has gone? I mean, we have things like Guitar Idol in the UK now, and things like that. What do you think that's doing to the craft, as it were?
It's probably doing a good thing. It's motivating people. It gives them some kind of objective, and I guess for every 99 kids who just all waste their life playing with the metronome and trying to become this sweep demon for no reason, there's one kid who will have that same determination but has a real musical spark. I think it's probably good for people to be aware of what all the other kids all around the world can do, and it's raised the bar. You know, I mean, the level of technique that's considered acceptable now is sort of way ahead of what it ever was in the past.
It's funny, though. I mean, I look at all that stuff, and then I'll throw on Soft Machine from '72 with Holdsworth and say, how far have we really come?
I kind of feel a similar way about guys like Bumblefoot and Matthias Eklund, and even now they feel like they're kind of the cutting-edge, weird guitar technical guys. That feels like as far as we've come in some ways, and they sounded like that 20 years ago.
They did, indeed. They did.
But, you know, there are cool new things happening. Some of the Animals as leaders.
Absolutely.
There's very, very interesting stuff going
Very
on there.
interesting.
And it's almost like the guitar environment and the internet thing and all that probably helped to inform that style of music.
There's always something. There's a Derek Trucks or something like that comes along that knocks you back on your
Don't
seat.
get me started on Derek. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And Sonny before him.
Yeah.
How's the tour been going? The shows seem to be incredibly well received. I saw a bunch of reviews from Montreal the other day where apparently you said it was the best show thus far.
Yes.
I don't know if that's from the audience response perspective or your own playing or whatever. But.
You know, 1 gig in 100, everything just goes the way it should. It was great sound on the stage. Everyone was just feeling in the zone. The audience was sort of more responsive than normal. Just, yeah, wonderful. But all the gigs have been really reassuring. People come to the shows and they stay till the end. They don't throw rotten fruit at us. We're all feeling very positive about the way this thing is being received.
When did you make the change to Sur amps?
Gradually. There wasn't a cut-off point, but for the past few years I've been doing a lot of clinics for Sur, and many of them in music stores and things like that, and it just made sense to use a Sur amp because any Sur dealer would have the amps as well as the guitars. So I just became more comfortable with the Badger in particular.
And you're very picky with tone, so obviously it's a quality instrument.
All I really care about is that the amp should listen to you, and that it should reproduce every detail in the way you play the notes, rather than kind of flattering you. There are some high-gain amps out there that really disguise the player.
Absolutely.
And I don't trust that. I don't want a really compressed sound, even if it's easier to play a million notes. It feels like some of the personality in each note has been taken away. So the Badger is more of an old-school amp, I think, in the same way that the Cornfords are an old-school amp. There's potentially a lot of gain there, but you still have to fight to get the note sounding the way you want it to. And I quite enjoy that.
Will there be a signature model in the works, do you think?
Who knows?
Not something that's been discussed as yet?
No, I don't have any exciting new nugget of information to unleash at this point.
Okay, well, I want to thank you very much for your time. You've been very generous considering your tight schedule here. Master class today, show tonight. I guess tomorrow it's Marco who has a clinic? Marco has a clinic, and then another show at another venue downtown, a bigger venue, I guess. So thank you.